DeChaine, who I think you're really in for a treat. Carol is an amazing, amazing, amazing healer. Like the the stuff that she's able to accomplish with clients is unbelievable. She is able to help people shift their lives completely, and you're going to be, in for a treat with not just, hearing excuse me, hearing her story, but she uses really cutting edge modalities that you may not have heard of, and she's going to be sharing that with you today. So let me just give you a little bit of a background on Carol. She is a spiritual guide for practical matters, and she uses spiritual guidance, intuitive readings, and Marconics energy as well as practical tools to help her clients navigate their path from what's not working to a place of empowerment, joy, and deliberate creation. She works with professional women and entrepreneurs, and she helps them enjoy a deeper connection to the divine, clarity of vision, and releasing of the struggle, creating synchronicity and a greater flow of prosperity in their lives. She helps integrate all the aspects of her clients by clearing past lives, karmic ties, and parental programming that may be holding them back from success, as well as releasing density and raising their vibration with Marconics no-touch healing techniques. Her goal is to have her clients be able to say that they feel rich in every way. And today she's going to share with you how to create success in your life with more ease and flow. So, Carol, thanks for sharing this information with us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
So can you start by sharing a little bit about your background, how you got into this work, and how it changed your life as well?
Well, I think it all started when I was 12, believe it or not, and my parents dragged me to Unity Church, and I hated it because there were no kids my age. So I ended up bonding with the teacher, and we had a lot of deep one-on-one sessions. So she kind of helped me start on my spiritual path at 12. And I knew at 12 I wanted to help heal and inspire other people, but I was 12. So I kind of ignored that as I got older and went on my merry way. But the spiritual side, the path kept reappearing, and I kept going to classes and doing all sorts of mentorships and workshops, and all the people you might have heard of, I've been to them. It's amazing the kind of stuff that has happened just by doing that. So, and then I went to, besides that, when I was in high school, I started doing theater. So my creative side became part of who I was, and I didn't realize I had that until I acted, sung, danced, even directed and choreographed later, and as well as doing arts and crafts, thanks to my mom. So all of that was like a second half of who I was. And of course, then there's the practical side, because I got a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice, so I had to do practical stuff for my day job. And I always kept those three sides separate. And when I knew if I ever got those three sides together, something was going to happen. And I think that because of my divorce, which is a catalyst for so many people, I worked with a life coach for a year and a half. And after the first year, I felt a lot of the healing had happened, and it was time to move on. Time to make a difference in my life and in other people's lives, and to really feel like I was doing something that mattered. So I asked the universe, and I said, come on, it's time, let's do something. What am I supposed to do? And within a couple of months, which I've seen happen with my clients constantly, I had 3 different people come up to me that I hadn't really asked specifically for. And they said, you should be a life coach. No, maybe not a life coach, but something like a life coach, whatever that meant. So I decided to listen, because the third time you kind of get the idea that maybe you should be listening to somebody. And I went ahead and I looked into the class, and another synchronistic thing happened, which again, I sing with my clients constantly when they get in the flow, because I decided, after looking into a specific class and knowing exactly what it was going to cost for the school, I was sitting in my car at lunch one day and said, well, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm not going into my savings again, so figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 days later, I got a call from somebody who was offering me a trusteeship on a board of directors that I had not put my resume in for. And by the end of the year, it was paying for all my classes.
That is awesome. Yeah. That's what happens when you get in the flow.
It does.
So, Carol, the catalyst for all of this was your divorce. And I know that a lot of women that are listening are going through some sort of transition now, right? Or they are at a point in their lives, they were attracted to this call because they haven't really been able to get traction in their business or in their career. And it just feels like this exhausting, uphill climb. What is that thing that needs to happen? And I know you're going to get deeper into, the keys that you really need to embody in order for you to create success, whether it's financial abundance or, whatever other type of success. But what is that one thing that you would tell women who are struggling through a transition like a divorce or, really struggling in their career, struggling financially? What is it that they really need to hear about going through this transition and, really essentially what they need to embody in order for it to become easier?
It feels like for me, and the way I've seen it for others, is that you have to get all the stuff that's piled on top of you, shove it out of the way so that you can feel and reconnect with yourself no matter what else is going on, because you know best what's best for you. And if you're not being able to connect with yourself because you have all these emotions and all these fears and all of these other things or circumstances piled on top of you, that's when you get disconnected from your source and the good of who you really are and what you can do in the world.
Right. So I see this with a lot of women, and you're talking about like having this stuff piled on you. And I think that for me and for a lot of women who are, as you described, have that analytical side where we're in the corporate world or we have our own business and our desire is to do. We feel like success comes from doing, right? You have both been able to master like the practical side of doing because you're practical, you've worked in industries where you have to use that side of your brain, but you're also very intuitive and you use healing modalities to, help people shift their energy. How do you, in your experience, how has it changed your life and how have you been able to merge the two? Because I know it's very difficult sometimes for women, especially women who are very driven, to understand that really you need to go in order for you to make progress and get that traction you're looking for.
I really find that with me, when I went the practical side, I lost my spiritual side. So I have to start at the beginning, which is the spiritual side, and really connect and find my joy and what really floats my boat, so to speak, so that then I can connect to my intuitive nature. And that's when I help people. I move them from aligning, like doing meditations and visualizations and things, so that they get connected to spirit. And then, which is the way I did it as well. And then looking at the reading of the intuitively to see maybe what's holding them back and how to shift it, where it comes from. And then I go from there to using my creativity to maybe helping them design their way of getting from planning something or they're visualizing something to actually getting it practical. Because without the practical side, you can be as connected and woo-woo as you want, and you might be happy, but you may have no money. You may be living, homeless. You might be happy, but you'll be very poor perhaps. So you want to have that practical side too, so that you can just hook it all together. And that's, I think, what those different pieces do. And now with my new tool of Marconics, it really feels like it helps shift the heaviness and the density out of your body so that you can get rid of all of that karmic stuff that's stuck in you, and it lightens you up really fast.
So can you share with us a little bit about the actual modalities, the healing modalities that you use?
I use I have some tools from the life coaching. So those are some of the practical tools that I use, as well as some of the emotional help kind of tools. And then I also have the readings that I do. I do some readings that are, like I say, it helps see where your karmic ties are, maybe parental programming, if you're stuck in something that your mother did and you don't need it anymore because it was her stuff, but you still like adopted it, then I can help you move through that. And then there's also, like I said, the Marconics, which is a no-touch healing. Although it's better in person, it works in distance as well. And it helps lighten the whole body up. It brightens it up. It shifts the stuff that's stuck in your cells. It helps that go away, and it's really powerful. It's to shift from Reiki of 25 years to that is, I would never have done it if it hadn't have really made a difference.
So what are some of the results that people can expect once they've shifted this junk out of their cells?
Well, it depends on the person, because some people shift and all of a sudden they feel better than they ever have. And other people need to go through, they bring up the old stuff first. So maybe an old injury will show up and they'll go, what? That was gone. But it only shows up for a short time and then it goes away. The first time I did Marconics, I had my ankle, which I had a really bad problem with at one point, which hadn't bothered me forever. It came up. I felt like I broke my ankle. It wasn't even broken the first time. I could hardly walk for a day, and the next day it never bothered me again. I'm going, okay, that was weird. With that, you just don't know what your body needs. So it's like Reiki in that effect, where you don't say, I want you to heal my knee, and it heals your knee. Reiki is something that goes in the same way Marconics does, where it goes in to where it wants to and where you need it. So you can't really direct it as much as you'd like to.
But it's not only just for physical ailments, it's emotional and it manifests emotionally as well.
It definitely works on karmic patterns. It works on all sorts of things, and it helps you raise your density from the third dimension into just the heaviness that you might be feeling, because especially nowadays with all the stuff that's going on, people get depressed. There is so much to be depressed about nowadays, and it really helps lighten you and make you feel like you can do more. You don't have as much exhaustion, unless you need to go through exhaustion first before you have the energy. Like I said, sometimes you have to go back to the old before you get into the new.
So share with us some of the keys, like the essential keys to creating success with ease. I know that it involves, these modalities that you use, and also some of the stuff you're going to be sharing with us that will help those of us who are watching to be able to manifest faster. So can you share with us what those keys are?
Well, 3 of the ones that I'm going to share today are ones that are easy. They're things that you don't think of to start with generally, and I wanted to go there because, like I said, they're easy. So if you have something in your life and it's just, the business is like, here, done, you're stuck. And a lot of people just, they look at this over and over and over again, so how can I fix this? And you get more and more tense. And instead of staying there, I suggest you might want to go back to your original vision and look at your original vision and say, is this still what I want? Is this still ring true for me, for this business, for this life that I have? And if it does, and it still makes you zing and make you go, yeah, this is what I want, then that isn't something that's holding you back. So that's great to know. But if you look at it and it's yes, and you look at where you're at and you go, oops, I'm off the path just a little bit, I need to readjust and maybe tweak where I'm at, that may fall away. That problem may just leave. Another way it might show up in the vision is it might be unfocused. You might look at it and say, oh, that's right. When I started this out, I didn't know all the pieces I wanted. And so I'm still unfocused because I'm all over the place. It's not gelling because I never finished my vision. So if you go back and you really clarify where you want it now at this point, then you might find again that this thing over here that's the problem just disappears, or it adjusts and it moves with your vision. And the last way, which is something I just recently found out, that the vision can change, is if you're looking at it as a puzzle and all the pieces fit when you started, and now you've healed, or you've learned, or you've grown, some of those pieces may no longer fit. So don't have a lot of emotional attachment to the way it was to start with, because you might be holding yourself back. So like I was saying, for Reiki, I had been doing it for 25 years, and I realized that this year was my 20th year as a Reiki master, and I kind of graduated this year to something different by changing to Marconics. And so if I left that puzzle piece in there of Reiki, I'd be missing out on this amazing modality that I've just learned that makes such a different shift, that is like giving my clients a graduate course instead of giving them like a 5th grade thing. You know, not that Reiki isn't lovely, but it moves much slower. It's really gentler, and really, it's like turning the volume down on something. Marconics turns it up. So it might be a little loud for some people, but it is powerful. So I've outgrown that vision, and I need to shift with that. So if you've done that, then take a look at that vision and make sure that all the puzzle pieces are still where you need them to be. So that's the first key. Look at the vision.
So let me just kind of elaborate on that a little bit. So we have a mix of business women and professional women, right? So women who are in the corporate world as well. So what you're suggesting is that, you know, if you are, you know, whether you have your own business or you have a, you know, a job, a corporate job, that you really need to check in with yourself to see if this is what you still want to do, if this is still something that you're passionate about.
Right, exactly.
And if not, then do you just start from scratch?
Sometimes. It depends on if there's pieces of it that still ring true or not. If like half of it's right, but where you're working is wrong, or the people you're around just really bring you down, then it's either time to shift to a different place, maybe just a different department. If you shift yourself at depth, sometimes your boss leaves if that's the person that you don't want. I've had that happen a couple of times to people. Their boss just disappears. They get promoted or they get fired. And all of a sudden, the person is without that same boss, and they have a better boss. And they didn't have to leave their job because they loved the job. They couldn't stand their boss. So things just shift around you. You just need to know what you love and what you don't.
That actually happened to me when I first started my coaching practice. I was doing a lot of work on relationship coaching, and I all of a sudden started seeing myself more talking about business and working with people on their businesses. I still do a little bit of, you know, relationship coaching as well, but my passion really became, you know, working with people on their businesses. And I can see how, you know, you really do need to continuously check in with yourself to see if you are on the right path. So what is the second key?
Well, the second key, again, something that I hadn't necessarily thought of until I was actually working on the webinar, and I went, okay, so what are some easy ones that people don't look about? And I find that once you have the vision and you've checked that out, you need to look at your values to make sure that what means something to you, whether you want to come from a heart-centered space or make a difference in the world, or if it's just being honest and having integrity, or whatever your values happen to be, that really means something to you, that you really don't want to live a different way. If you look at your vision and make sure it's in alignment with your values, then you're in good shape. But then make sure to remember to look at how you are focusing and how you're implementing your vision. Make sure that you're still in alignment with your values, because sometimes we get out here and something happens and maybe we are a little bit off of where we want to be. So we need to just like tweak those things and shift them, because then we'll feel much more connected to what we want.
Can you give us an example? Like a real life example of that?
Without giving anything away, how can I do this? I did have someone who was not perhaps as honest with her employees as she thought that she should be, and because she was hiding things, and she felt that that's what she had to do in order to make money. But when she realized that indeed it was not her integrity, she totally felt uncomfortable with it. It was blocking everything.
Yeah.
That she just decided that she was done. She was not going to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the employees, didn't know what was happening, but they felt the difference, and they responded, and clients came coming back to her, and it was all sorts of things that happened that when she got back on her path again.
Yeah, I do see that a lot, especially in this industry with, coaches marketing themselves as, and they feel like, hey, I have to have all the answers. I need to put myself out there as this guru. I need to be making, hundreds of thousands of dollars for people to want to work with me. And I see that, that when you put yourself out there and it's out of integrity, people feel it unconsciously.
Yeah,
It does
definitely.
block your success. Cool. So, what is our third key?
Well, the third key is just simply that if you are, like I said earlier, focusing on the problem, you get tighter and tighter and tighter until you're so contracted that even if something hit you upside the head as an answer to your problem, you are not going to see it. You're not going to be aware of it, and because you're just going to be totally closed off. So if you instead, every time you think of this thing is driving me crazy, why isn't it working, and you get into the negative and you're worried about it, think about and be grateful for all the things around it in your life that are working. The things in your business life or your even your personal life, if there's not much in your business life that's working, but be grateful for it and feel yourself opening up. Just take even 5 minutes a day and practice it so that you can shift your perspective, and you'll find that when you start thinking about maybe it's still not working, but you're not as closed off. So when an idea or someone else presents an idea to you, you won't not hear it. Because sometimes people come up to you and they'll say something, and the third time somebody says something is when you hear it, or the 10th time, because you finally are open enough and you go, oh, I've never heard that before. That's such a great idea. And maybe your partner will go, really? I said that 5 times. Usually that's a man, I must admit.
So what you're saying is that when you focus on the negative or the things that you're worried about, that it closes you up and you're not able to see all of the opportunities that are around you.
Exactly.
So you mentioned that you're going to teach us how to let go of worry.
Yes.
How are you going to do that?
Well, I have a couple of tools I thought I'd share with you. One that I created and one that I've heard before from a couple of different people, including Mary Morrissey. The whole point about worry or fear or doubt is that it's a concern about something that's going to happen in the future that hasn't happened yet. So the worry is just a fear. And you don't need to carry that with you because it doesn't really do you that much good. It's like an early warning system. So the first tool is to procrastinate worry, which means you're going to make an appointment with it for later. You're going to say, we procrastinate so many things we shouldn't, right? We're probably going to procrastinate something that'll help us. So this time we're going to say, thank you, subconscious mind, for bringing up this worry. Thank you for telling me that this could be a problem. Now, I want to hear all about this, but can we make the appointment for, let's see, I'm worried about Monday when I have a speech at Toastmasters. Let's make the appointment for Tuesday, and I'll hear all about it. So in your mind, you're saying this to worry, which is your subconscious. And so every time after that it comes up, you go, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But now we have that appointment on Tuesday, right? You can tell me then. And instead of circling around, and you know how you get on that cycle that you can't get off of, that you just spin out of control of worry and fear and drives you crazy sometimes? That's what this will stop. It's just something that hits the pause button. So you can go, oh, later. So try procrastinating next time with worry or fear.
Try and see if that works, because I definitely need that tool.
So the second one you said you would help me with.
Okay.
Okay. So this one's called What If? And so many times when we want to do something, especially something bigger, like for me, it was learning to swim or speaking as myself instead of acting, because I mean, I'm fine on stage, but don't make me be me.
Mm-hmm.
So I, what I wanted to do is, do Toastmasters, and I wanted to learn to swim, and those things were not happening. I had all these what ifs that made me, oh my God, what if I die? What if I pass out? What if something happens? What if I embarrass myself? So what if is usually we look at it as the scary part. We don't look at it as possibilities that are good, just the scary stuff. So looking at a fear that you have, why don't I explain it as we go through how it's going to work?
Okay.
Okay, so what is one of the fears you're willing to work on that you can feel now, and it's not a past fear?
Can it be something like situational, like being on a plane, a flight, or does it have to be?
Sure. Yeah, it's how you feel about being on the plane, or is it only when you're on the plane you're scared?
No, I had actually an accident on a plane once where we had a really bad landing and we skidded on our nose, the nose of the plane. And after that, I felt scared of turbulence. So every time there's turbulence, I'm like really clutching, the seat and like going crazy.
So the question for you then is, will you be able to tell now if it's shifted, or do you have to wait till you're on the plane?
I probably have to wait until I get on the plane.
Okay. So is there anything else that you can do then now? Because you can do this if it works for you later on when you're getting on the plane.
So is it a fear or a worry?
Yeah, anything that you look at, maybe something holding you back. Like I said, mine was um, flying. Oh, not flying. Sorry, that was yours. Mine was
Mhm.
learning to swim or speaking as myself, public speaker. So those are my two big ones. So
Okay.
anything that you feel like if you had a scale of 1 to 10, you were going to go do, you'd go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll stay home.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing.
Okay. I guess we could do speaking. I'm comfortable speaking in a room of about, 100 people, but then when we get to, more than that, hundreds or more, then that's still very, nerve-wracking.
So how do you feel right now thinking about it?
Um, right now I feel, let me see, let me try to imagine a huge room of people. Right now I feel okay about it, but I can see how, if I step on a stage with 1,000 people in the room, it would be kind of scary.
So would you be able to then run a what if scenario on the negatives that could happen for
Yeah.
30 seconds? Okay, so what I want you to do is start with what if, and I want you to make it something that really could happen, and then I want you to make it bigger and bigger and crazier, like comic strip kind of crazy, as there's no way in heck this probably would happen, but
Okay.
just make it bigger and like Robin Williams bigger,
Okay.
overdo it. Okay, so I'm going to give you 30 seconds for that.
So do
You
I
ready?
do it silently or
Nope,
do I?
I'll say it out loud. So you say what if so that everybody can hear what you're doing.
Okay. Oh my
Okay.
God. So what if I am speaking in front of 1,000 people and I am judged and they think that what I'm saying is stupid? What if I trip and fall? What if I stumble? What if I stutter? What if I
Say
look
crazier.
stupid? Um, what if I crazier? Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Um, what if they boo me?
Well,
What
you're
if
out of
people
time
just
for 30
stand up?
seconds, but the kind of thing that I would do that I had said, just so you know, as like bigger would be, what if I, you know, throw up on stage because I'm so nervous? What if I pass out? What if I die because I held my breath too long? I mean, really goofy things. So the
Okay.
bigger you can get and the stranger you can get, and you may need to do a minute if you can't think of enough in 30 seconds. so
Okay.
that you release this tension. And that's what you do with that. So the next part is a minute. And now you're going to think of what would be good. What if there was nothing to fear? What if it went great?
Mm.
So the bigger, the better on that as well. It was going great. It's going wonderful, fabulous, just, getting bigger and bigger.
Okay. So what if I
Okay.
have 1,000 people in a room and I get a standing ovation? And what if people start to cry because they're so inspired and feel so emotional about what I'm talking about? What if um, they all run out and want to change their lives and are completely motivated? Um, what if there is a really amazing person there that makes an offer that is amazing and allows me to share with even more people?
What if you get $1 million from it? What if
What
you
if
had
somebody writes me a
20,
check for $1 million?
yeah, what if 20 people want to work with you that will pay you 50,000 each? I mean, let's get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now check in with yourself now, and how do you feel?
Um, it definitely feels better than the first one.
And the crazier you can get and the more stuff you can get out, the better it'll be. So, the more crazy and the negative, which makes it sound like it's not as important and not as scary.
Hmm.
And
Right.
it's not meant to fix it. It's meant to take the edge off of it so that you
Right.
can then go forward and do what you want to do without totally debilitating yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. So it kind of puts it all in perspective.
Right. Right.
Okay. So these the tools, the two tools that you're going to share with us, or do you have any more?
I have those two for now. I have more, but those are the two that I have planned to share with you.
Okay. So I'm going to let people know a little bit about how they can learn more and how they can speak to you about all of this stuff. But the last thing that you're going to share with us is how to speed up our manifestations by using visualizations.
Yes, and it's so funny because I was just going to share the regular visualization plus a little bit extra, but my favorite place to come up with new things is in the car. So I have to admit that in all the classes I've ever taken, I've never really heard this before. And I got very excited because I thought, oh, it's something original. And I'm sure it's not, but I've never heard it. So I can't wait to share it with you.
Okay.
So normally visualization, as most people do, is you see it when you close your eyes, you see it on a screen in front of your face and you see it happening. So the other ways you can do it besides that, of course, you can add your five senses to it so it makes it more real, and you can put feeling behind it. And if you're writing it down, you can write it in the present, which is kind of a way to do your vision. So when you read it back, you can see it. But so the visualization is the new one that I'm presenting to you today. And if I don't explain it well, please let me know so I can reiterate. First time I'm going to explain it to anyone. It's a two-step process the first time you do it. So even if you've done the visualization before, if it's the first time you've tried this process, you do both steps. And after the first time, you only do step 2. So step 1 is to do your visualization the way you normally would, however you normally do it. There's no reason to do anything different, except that you're going to do 3 things that are different. I'm going to add 3 things in. But the first thing is to make it as specific as you can. So you're going to see it happening in front of you, and you're going to add as many details that come to you that feel right. You're going to add smells and, having, like, if you're going to a meeting with a client and it's somebody that's going to change your life because you're going to have this big deal, then you might see yourself driving up to the parking lot, getting a parking place right up front, feeling good, knowing you're 10 minutes early, getting out of the car, smelling the food from as you're walking in, seeing what the building looks like, all the way through to signing the deal at the table and shaking the hand. So all those details, put those in. And then at the very end, the second thing you're going to do before you open your eyes is say thank you. As soon as, if that's the end of it, and you shake the hand of the person, you say, oh, thank you. I'm so grateful that this is happening. And then you open your eyes and you say, so be it, this or something better. So those are the three things you do to your regular visualization, if I can talk. And you do, so step one is regular, adding all the details, being grateful before you open your eyes, but after the thing has happened that you want, that you're visualizing, the positive outcome. And then you open your eyes and you say, so be it, this or something better. The second part is the new part. So the second part is the same thing all over again. So you might be there an hour the first time, which you can shrink later. But for the second part, you're going to look at the movie at the very beginning. And when the credits roll, so to speak, at the beginning, when they give you the title, you're going to pull apart the screen on the movie and you're going to step into it. Maybe this is the actor in me, I don't know, but you're going to step into the screen. You're going to become your future self. So instead of watching yourself, you're going to, like, now I can see my hands, I can see my feet, but I can't see my whole being unless I'm looking in the mirror. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to step in and feel like you have your hands on the wheel, seeing the parking place, putting your foot on the gas pedal, feeling it, standing up in your mind's eye, and walking through it as though it's really happening to you, the way that athletes do it, actually. So I guess it has been done before. Because they visualize, but a lot of times they just see it happening. But if you feel it, your muscles, your body doesn't know it's not doing it. So you're going to go ahead and do that all the way to the end, the same way you would. But if you're used to the regular visualization, you're going to suddenly find yourself back out and watching yourself. So don't worry about that. Hit the pause button, maybe the rewind button a little bit, and then step back in again and hit play. So I want you to go ahead, and then when you get towards the end, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing you did the first time. At the very end, you'll say, thank you. I'm so grateful that this is happening. This is so great. And then after you open your eyes, you'll say, so be it, this or something better. Because, hey, why mess with something good? Maybe something even better will be there.
So, as we know, visualization is very powerful. That this is how I manifested my car, by doing that exercise that you just shared with us. And it came to a point where the car was just, it felt like it was mine until it was, outside my door. But I know that a lot of people have issues with visualization. Some people can't really visualize. So what do you suggest for those people?
I think the best thing to do is to get your vision, write it down, whatever you want to visualize, and then tape record yourself, which maybe you don't do that anymore, but record yourself, however you want to do it, and follow it. So you follow it by, turning it on like a guided visualization with your own voice. And then it's easier to follow that than it is maybe if you lose track of something, if maybe you don't focus well. I overfocus, so I have no trouble with this. But some people, you get distracted. Things happen. The dog barks. Something happens. So if you can shut yourself away, it helps. And don't drive. Very dangerous. Mm-hmm. But it does help if you have your own voice, if you need that to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've done that where I have recorded my vision for what I want, and before I went to bed, I would listen. So that is a very, very powerful exercise. So before we get to how people can connect with you, and then guys, we're gonna take actually not me, but Carol's gonna take some questions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and add them in the chat box, or Carol, once we're done with this part, you can unmute everyone and see if anyone has any questions.
Okay. Well, and also I think *9, if you're driving, that's not good either. Maybe better to unmute.
Yeah, if you're on, they're going to be on video if they're not on their phones. So you'll need to unmute them. But okay. So can we go over that visualization, the directions first? So you're going to start with your visualization.
Right. So step one is the visualization that you would normally do. And you make sure that you have a lot more specifics than you have in the past. And then at the end, when you're complete with this wonderful thing that you're visualizing happens, then you say thank you and be really grateful and feel it. And then you say, when you open your eyes, so be it, this or something better. And the second half, you go back and you do it again, but you step into the movie. You become yourself in the future. So it's happening to you right now. And you go through all the senses that you would normally have if you were there. So you smell it, you taste it, you touch it. If you're getting steak and you're going, oh, this tastes good, you'll even salivate because it will be, oh, this is good. I can smell it in my mind. I can do it. You can talk. You can even have the whole conversation with somebody if you want in your mind's eye about how this thing is going. If that's, if that is too detailed for you, you don't need to do it. But I've done that before with certain difficult conversations I wanted to have. And I didn't do it the same way every time, but it would just pop out of my mouth later because I visualized it working really well. So that's the first half, where the first half was just doing a regular. The second one is stepping in, but having the same ending. So it's the same thing at the end where you say, thank you, I'm so grateful. And then kind of step out with your eyes open and say, so be it, this or something better. And the second time, I don't think I mentioned this, but when you do it a second time or third time, or you may never need to do it more than once, but if you do it more, you don't need to do the first half again, and you can kind of truncate the second half. So you don't have to do it for 20 minutes or an hour. You can do it with snippets of each section if you have different pieces that really make a difference. So maybe in that scenario I already mentioned, you see yourself pulling in, or you feel yourself pulling in, you look at your watch, and then you jump to walking in and shaking the hand of the person you're meeting. And then maybe you jump to signing the contract and shaking his hand again, or her hand again, why am I saying him? So that you don't have to be there for that whole time. You don't have to do it for 20, 30 minutes after the first time.
Okay. Cool.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So how can people get more of you and connect with you if they would like to learn more and get more of this information, Marconics, and all the other healing modalities you work with?
Well, I really was hoping to be able to offer, I'm going to be doing a special offer so that people can, I think I have about 10 spaces that I can do on my calendar that I would love to be able to work with people that are feeling stuck or, just really need some kind of assistance in moving forward, and they have an impasse in whatever part of their business life or their real life sorry. So I want to invite you to what I'm calling a Success Made Easy seminar, a consultation. And so we'll be looking at where you are, what kind of hidden challenges or maybe not so hidden challenges that are stunting where you're at and where you want to go in your business life or your regular life. And you'll have a crystal clear vision for the ultimate success of what you want when we're done. And I hope to leave you feeling energized and reconnected at source and just inspired to move forward and having a quantum leap in your business or in your life when we're done.
And how can they sign up for this session?
I do have a link that you can't use the www on. It's just easysuccess.youcanbook.me, and it brings you straight to my calendar so that you can pick some times and give me a little information so that we can chat.
Can you share that with them in the chat box?
Yes, I most certainly can. Whoops, hold on. Let me get over.
And it's a complimentary session, right?
Yes, it is. It is. That's why I said I have about 10. Let's see if I can do this. Me. Okay, let me make sure I did that right. Sorry. It's very small print.
easysuccess.youcanbook.me.
Yes.
Let me see if the link works. Yeah, it's in the chat box, guys. Yep, it works. All right, so what questions do we have? Are you able to unmute everyone to see what
I
questions we
can
have?
unmute everyone. Hold on, let me get there. See if I can unmute. Where is the unmute? There it is. Unmute all. Haha. There we go.
Looks like, all right, we're unmuted. Guys, ladies, what questions do we have? What do you need help with specifically that you're going through right now? Just chime in.
Hello?
Yes. Yep, we can hear you.
Can't hear.
Your number ends in 4440.
Oh, sorry. I thought, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you didn't have a question?
Yeah. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I do, but give me a second. Sorry. I totally lost track. I thought I was still muted.
That's okay.
I'm stage fright. It's like my mind suddenly went blank. It's like, what was I going to say? Yeah.
It happens.
Okay, so what were you talking about right before you said you were going to, so I apologize. I was on the road and I came in partway through. But you were saying that there's some sort of offer for, and you gave the link, but I couldn't see it. I don't see the chat box. This is my first time on Zoom, so I don't know where to look.
You know what, Carol? I think you just shared it privately with me, so let me go ahead and share it with everyone.
Oh, I see. Oh, it says everyone.
All right, here. It's I just shared it with everyone, guys. It's in the chat. And if you want to write this down, it's easysuccess.youcanbook.me. So easysuccess.youcanbook.me. And it's in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, my phone still says that I'm muted, so I think I might have dialed in twice because I thought I got disconnected. So I need a Zoom lesson. Easy success.
Yeah.
You.canbook.me?
.me, yes, exactly.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any other questions for Carol besides that one?
I'll let someone else talk, and if they want to have any questions, then maybe I'll chime back in.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions about what we chatted about tonight?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. I have a couple questions, please. The first is that is this practice coherent with a Christian faith?
Well, it depends on what you mean by the Christian faith. If you're open to your good, and I can definitely only speak the way that my clients want me to speak. Some people are more open to certain things than others, and so I like to honor my clients and listen to what they have to say and what they're comfortable with. So we can work around whatever, people are comfortable with or not comfortable with.
Okay, thank you. And then second question is that can you please just repeat? I didn't quite get the key the key concept about overcoming fears.
So the two tools that are the ones you're talking about?
Yes, please.
Okay. So did you understand the what if tool where we looked at it and we did the 30 seconds? So you check in with where you're feeling. So let me give you a quick example. Maybe this will be clearer. When I had to go and speak for my first time when I was being myself instead of acting, I went to Toastmasters. I was scared out of my mind. And I thought, what am I going to do? What if all of these horrible things happen to me when I get up and talk? So for example, I didn't even want to go, but I knew I had to. And so my what if for 30 seconds were, what if I forget what I want to say? And then it was like, what if people laugh? It was like Sandra was saying, what if I die? What if people, they're laughing? What if they boo? What if, oh my God. So that was like 30 seconds of fear, of just getting really, really intense out of your being. And then you choose a minute, or if the twice the amount of time you did the negative, you do the positive. And so then you do, what if it's really good? What if I learn, versus mine, for example, what if I learn how to speak in front of people and it changes my life? What if I can then talk in front of all these people and I can go out there and help them change their lives? Oh my God, what if I become world renowned and as a speaker? Who knew? So you just get more and more larger and more wonderful and more amazing in that positive part, so that then you can check in with how you feel again, and hopefully it will take the edge off the fear.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Okay.
I have one last comment and question. What happens when you're doing the visualization, and in case this happened to me, it turned into a nightmare?
While you were visualizing, you mean?
No, in reality.
Looking back, did it have any shifts afterwards that it actually, you learned something you needed to learn from?
Well, I guess it's a 50-50, right? Almost like this what if exercise. From a neuroscientist perspective, this is about stimulating a certain part of the brain that opens up opportunity. So the dopamine-driven part of the brain versus the other part of the limbic system, that which is calculating the scenarios and fears that is meant to protect you. So it's very difficult to get it right in the right ratio. And so I'm just curious to think that in hindsight, I still can't tell you that the pain is worth the dream. What I did say that we all as human beings wants to make the best meaning out of any circumstances, and nothing will kill you until it kills you. And that's what actually led me to the Christian faith, which I think that's the only way to walk a straight path. If working with different modalities, the sure way is to guide oneself not to temptation, but walk in righteousness without being judgmental.
And what I do is I align with my higher self, and I ask for your angels, your guides, whatever it is that you believe in, to help you find your path for you, because all I'm doing is helping to guide you. So you know what you need and what you want, and I'm just there to facilitate it, to be a mentor rather than to be, the kind of coach that tells you, you have to do this and you have to do that, like a sports coach, that's setting you on your way to doing, 20 push-ups. It's something that we work on together, but it's really your joy and what you want out of it.
I understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So while I was listening to the webinar, first I was thinking, I would love to see the beginning of this that I missed while I was driving. And secondly, I kept thinking of all these people, they should be on, but I, of course, couldn't reach them last nanosecond or whatever. So is there a way for people to rewatch this webinar or to share it or whatever?
Yeah, it's being recorded, and Carol's going to be sharing with me. I'm going to be sharing it with people in my community, and she's going to send it out to those of you who signed up for it.
Oh, great. Excellent.
And you can
Fantastic.
share. Awesome. Do we have any more questions, ladies? No? Okay. All right. So if we don't have any more questions, again, thank you, Carol. I want to do Marconics with you. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm a little, you know, it's like she said, it's like sometimes things in your life change and it's feels like it's going the wrong way, but you're releasing a lot of things that really don't serve you anymore. And if you're at that place in your life where you feel like, hey, I want to go to the next level, and I'm willing to open up to the possibilities, then take advantage of this, one of the 10 sessions that Carol has to offer. And I'm definitely going to take advantage of it and want to see what this Marconics can do.
Sounds good.
I have one more question. So is it just Marconics, or is it the sort of coaching type things that we saw on the webinar as well?
Oh, definitely. It's the coaching as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all of it. And Marconics is one of the modalities that she uses.
Oh, okay. Got it. Love it.
All right. So have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. And we'll be sending out the recording.
You.
And thank you, Sandra.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.